You've got a business to run, big and heavy products to ship, and customers who need them now. When you've got the right driver and the right equipment, you can bet on a spectacular result. Bennett understands complex logistics and puts the best team, the most time, and the latest technology into every customer relationship. So you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the race. Let us handle the rest.
Together, we can move anything.
Taking on the challenge, moving ahead. It's about going further, faster. At Customers Bank, we know that great things happen when you combine the best of technology with a deeply human touch. So we offer a wide range of personal, small business, and commercial banking solutions with outstanding personal service, giving you the edge you need to take on tomorrow.
There is the green. Kind of composes things, and he rockets by Sima. There's Forrest said.
One of the ways you overtake here at Sebring is really good in the braking zones, like this one right here.
Both go around. There's the green. We are back and at it. Watch this. Oh, look out, Miller, look out.
Clark and DJ, it's only round two, but there's a lot at stake for the man right behind us and in pole position, and that, of course,
So well. It was perfect.
Okay, let's do that again. Let's do that again.
it's on.
It's come through now. It's come through now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello and a warm welcome to the Bennett BridgeHaul Classic from Road Atlanta. It's a beautiful day here as we get ready for round two of the Trans Am Series. And alongside me in the commentary booth today will be DJ Clark. Delighted to have you on board, but more importantly, even though it's early in the season, there's a lot at stake because our champion, Chris Dyson, didn't get a finish at Sebring.
He did not. He had that incident with Ernie Francis Jr. coming into the first turn, so it is all to play for here for Chris Dyson. And crucially with Dyson, he's done what he needs to do today. In an absolutely stellar qualifying, he put it on pole.
And also, what's really interesting, the guys chasing him from the pole are going to be within a second as they were in qualifying. Andretti's birthday's today. He's alongside him on the front row. We spoke to Tommy Dreese. There's a lot of guys want to win this one.
Yeah, Dreese told us in particular that he's got a quick car here, who had a little bit of a mistake in qualifying, but he's got the car he thinks to be able to compete up at the lead. In terms of Andretti, a new car for him, had some growing pains last time out in Sebring, but I think he's got everything together, and he's going to be one to challenge today.
All right, DJ, well, we are moments away from the start command. Beautiful conditions. Rain stopped a little bit of practice during the weekend, and talking to Chris Dyson, that's made the track a little bit tricky in terms of getting lap times that are consistent. But that won't stop anybody on this beautiful day as we get ready for Trans Am from Road Atlanta. We'll take a short break, and we'll be back with Ben Sissel after this. is this? Look at this view from Losowski.
It brings all my fans, it brings the audience into the car with me.
Speed turn, 140 mile an hour entry speeds.
The quickest and most efficient way for me to get information to my drivers is from using the V-Box HD2 system.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bennett BridgeHaul Classic here at the Mission Foods Road Atlanta Speed Tour. This is our fan walk. We're going to get a chance to talk to some of the drivers. It's a little bit cold. We put the temperature to the surface. It's about 69 to 70 degrees, which means warming tires is going to be a little bit crazy. I'm going to try to talk to Adam Andretti, who's standing right over there, but I want to talk about this top liner, qualified P2 of Adam Andretti. Claudio Burton and his team have created this car. It is unbelievably fast, really cool, but they are from the Atlanta area. But we got to come over here and talk to Andretti, who's talking to Paul Menard. We'll do a twofer here. Adam Andretti, it is your birthday. So, ladies and gentlemen, Adam Andretti's birthday. Paul Menard, who won the race with us just a few weeks ago at Sebring with the Master Force Tools Ford Mustang. So, gentlemen, you know I like the awkward questions. What are you guys talking about? You talking about turn one, or are you just kind of shooting the breeze?
I'm not sure you want to know what we're talking about, but it segued into what happens at turn two, though. And I've raced here one time like 20 years ago, so turn one's pretty wide open. I mean, we can run through there side by side, but all hell breaks loose at turn two, so we just got to be smart.
So you basically don't want to be side by side at turn two, is that what you're saying?
I mean, it's not ideal, not at all, because the inside car has to grab the curb, and then that's a bounce on cold tires. So we saw what happened in Sebring with the bounce on cold tires. It's usually not favorable for anybody. So Paul Menard, I mean, you know, you don't have to say much more than that name. I mean, this is, you know, a living legend, a walking just absolute talent. You know, I mean, his record speaks for itself. I mean, so knowing that you can race, like we were just, that's actually what we were just talking about, not only turn one and two, but we've never raced against each other, so we're, you know, talking about that. I mean, I've observed him a lot more than he's observed me, in all fairness, because he was in the Cup Series, and I watched that every weekend racing against my brother, so I know what kind of faith I could put in a professional like him, and I was just reassuring him that he could count on the same out of me.
And but we always know that Boris Said likes to just make it interesting and go three wide around one, around the outside. So you always have to be aware of that too.
Always got to be aware. We got a good group here. Everybody's so tight on time. You know, top six are on top of each other. So it's going to be a hell of a race. We'll just have fun, be smart. Nice day for a race.
Thank you very much, guys. And happy birthday. Then look at this. You got other competitors, Dreesy, Dyson, get in here. So what are you guys talking about here? You guys, they're both talking about how to get through turn one. What are you guys talking about?
We're actually talking about summer plans here.
Trying to bring our kids out.
How fast we think we were yesterday.
All right. So Dreesy, Dyson starting up at the front, needing the points. You know, let's get awkward here. Sebring was not what you wanted, so it's really important to finish on the podium and have some good points.
Well, no, it's not only that. We got to go out and get every point possible, and probably in most situations I probably would have gone out and said, look, well done, Adam, but we had the car under us, and we had to go out and get the qualifying points because, we're, like you said, we're in a little bit of a hole bend right now with the points, so we got to go out and maximize today and every race from now on. I got to plan on Paul and everybody else. No one's going to be relenting, so we're going to keep the Jim Weed car where it is and just go forward and take it one race at a time.
All right, and Dreesy, knowing you probably want to be more up at the front end of this pack. So we've got cold temperatures here. What's your plan for turn one and getting through the first lap?
Well, we're on the inside in 5. I mean, if you look at the times, top 6 drivers, that's right there. Anyone can win this race, and we're going to go to battle today. It's going to be fun. Say hi to all the fans, my family at home, Lacey, Jagger, Dreesy. Trans Am, green light. Hey, let's go battle.
Nice. I love it. Well, there's Tommy Dreesy. We do have a full field here. Unfortunately, we're not able to walk all the way through, but we've got Wally Dallenbach down there. We've got Amy Ruman, Boris Said, Tommy Dreesy, Keith Grant, Paul Menard, Adam Andretti, Chris Dyson, Richard Richard Grant is back there, but then we've got Danny Lowry. So we are going to come back up here to the invocation. We've got a lot of great SGT, GT cars out there, XGT, Chris Coffey and that Maserati. But unbelievable. And hey, let's talk to our COO, Michael Printuff, who's down here. Michael, this is kind of like your New York weather that you're used to, but what a great fan walk here at Road Atlanta.
Oh, it can be any better here in Road Atlanta Mission Food. This is so awesome to be down here and hanging out with all these people. Could this be any better? I don't think so. But great. Thanks for ordering the weather.
Yeah, exactly. No problem. Thank you very much. Good race.
Can you announce clearing the grid?
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we need to clear the grid. Please start clearing the grid as we come down here to our invocation.
How cool is that? Wow.
So just waiting on the invocation, but no problems. It's a beautiful day here. We've just come back into the booth, but as you can see from the flags, it's got a little breeze. It's a little brisk out there this morning. As you can see, we had a closer look, me and DJ, at that all-new Ginetta. It's actually a race car. I thought it was a road car, but it's actually a race car. So we got a good look at the insides of what a race Ginetta looks like, and you'll see them in action later today. Let's head back down to Ben Sissel.
Well, thank you, Jonathan. I'm here with Bill Knox to deliver the invocation. So everybody, please bow your heads and remove your hats.
If you'll join me in prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day. Father, we ask for your hand of protection to be upon all present here, drivers, crews, officials, and spectators. Father, bring them all home safe. Father, we ask for your extra hand of protection to be upon our first responders, our police, and our military, both home and abroad, Father. Hold your hands upon them as they protect our freedoms that you have provided. In your Son's most precious name we pray. Amen.
Well, Bill, thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a treat. Amanda Martinez here from the Atlanta area will deliver the national anthem. Amanda, take it away.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallant, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Wow. Amanda Martinez, unbelievable. Thank you so much. Well, you can't get more American than that. We've got a fan walk down here. We've got all this American muscle about to make some great music. But, Jonathan, I'm going to send it back up to you in the booth to run through the grid.
Thank you, Ben. Absolutely. And we're getting ready for round two of the series. A fantastic, scintillating qualifying yesterday between Dyson and Andretti. And Andretti thought he'd got the pole in that all-new chassis for Burton Racing, but in the end, Chris Dyson just got him at the last moment. 1:18.8 is the pole time. The top liner, Adam Andretti, birthday boy, alongside him. Paul Menard, winner of the first race. Keith Grant in the hunt in row 2. Dreesy and Boris Said, Amy Ruman and Wally Dollenbach, 2 great champions of Trans Am on row 4. Danny Lowry leads the way in XGT, and Shannon Herford is alongside likewise in XGT. Should be a good battle between those two. Ricky Sanders and Chris Coffey. Coffey winner last time out in that Maserati. Richard Grant, Joshua Carlson on row 7. Then row 8, Milton Grant and Jeff Lindstrom. Richard Forsyth in 9th position. And Jen Krapka is also coming to Trans Am for the first time. She's been part of SVRA for a long time, but coming into Trans Am in SGT. Kylie Bryson and Billy Griffin. So great to have some good female racers in our pack today. Todd Naparalski brings up the 11th row, and he will be fighting for GT. So that's the grid, and we're getting ready for the start command. DJ, your thoughts going into this? We've watched a lot of racing here, but the conditions couldn't be much better, could we, with 12 minutes to go?
Yeah, they're just about as perfect as can be, but the one thing that I will say in counter to all of that is, as we just made a little trip outside, it's a little bit brisk out there. So I think especially for the likes of Andretti and Dyson, off the front of this grid, they're going to want to attack from the outset. But I think you've got to wait a lap or two. You can't be too aggressive too early. You've got to get this Pirelli rubber up into its operating window and then go on the attack.
Yeah, we'll be on board with Wally Dollenbach in the Ultimate Headers V-Box Motorsport Ford Mustang. And Wally, of course, a multiple champion and one of the greats of this series. And many others, I may add. Did a lot of NASCAR in his time. And, of course, the Dollenbach family are kind of royalty when it comes to racing here in the US of A. Also, another champion out there, Tommy Dreesy. We spoke to him. He is got a skip in his step today and was pointing out just how close the times were in qualifying. So he, too, very confident. Amy Ruman coming off a podium last time out at Sebring. She is another champion of Trans Am. There's Chris Dyson, though. It's very hard to bet against beating Chris Dyson. He's been so dominant, and he's always good here as well. And that lap was, well, you called it, it was just sensational. He went out, what, 2 minutes to go, less than that? And I think he crossed the line with like 20 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, he did. He put it all on the line, and frankly, he was put into that position by a stellar qualifying lap from Adam Andretti that looked like it was going to hold. And by Dyson going out with 2 minutes to go, he knew he had no room for error, and yet he was still able to put it together and really asserting here at this point that he is a well-deserved champion. There was no question about that, and I think that lap was a statement after the rough run that was Sebring.
You know, we don't often talk too much about this man, Keith Grant. Of course, he's part of the Grant dynasty. We've got about 4 of them racing in Trans Am currently. But Keith is definitely the quickest. He's got a lot of sports car and IMSA background to him, but he's taken to Trans Am and is representing the family. This very much a home race for the Grants, and Keith Grant, never count out him here at Road Atlanta. So we're getting ready to fire up these engines and get going here. This is round 2 of the Trans Am series. This is the Bennett BridgeHaul Classic. And we've got 4 classes in all, as it was back in 1966. It started off as a sedan championship. Now we've got the tubular-framed silhouettes, if you will, from Mustangs, Camaros, you name it. I'm looking forward to that. We've got that great Dodge Challenger out there as well. And we welcome our viewers on MAV TV across the United States, getting ready for our Trans Am coverage. DJ Clark and Jonathan Green bringing you the action, and we'll be on board. We have everything covered. We have a drone in the air. We'll be on board with Wally Dollenbach to see how he muscles his car around this iconic track. Opened in 1972, back 54 years ago, and Trans Am has held 40 races in that history over the time. And of course, it is the home race for Bennett BridgeHaul, hence the Bennett BridgeHaul Classic. They are based in the Atlanta suburb of McDonough, and also looking forward to this. Got a lot of guests here this weekend. And we'll be keeping an eye on all 4 classes. Like I said, as it was in 1966, we have both production classes and the TA class, which is unlimited in power. These are absolute missiles in a straight line. Down that front straight you're looking at right now, they'll be getting up to 170, 180 miles an hour before diving into turn 1. We're talking to Evan Slater yesterday about that turn 1. He said he was showing me the turn-in point, and it's really very, very fast through there. I think it's like 4th gear before you turn right and up the hill over that blind crest. So it's a key corner here. I remember Scott Borchetta had a big accident here last year, but I'm glad to say he is absolutely A-OK. We'll be on board with the MAV TV sponsored, Franklin Road sponsored Tommy Dreesy car. We'll get 2 angles of him as we see him from behind his head, and we also see out front. So Tommy Dreesy, we've got all angles covered, and as we said, we spoke to him earlier, and he is on great form. Let's head down to Ben Sissel as we get ready for the start command.
Well, we've got James Collette here with the Bennett BridgeHaul Classic. You're with
Bennett Family of Companies.
Nice, I love it. And you guys are going to deliver the most famous words in motorsports, so take it away.
Drivers, start your engines!
And a rousing hello, and there's Danny Lowry, of course, from Bennett BridgeHaul, and he's got his hula girl ready to go. And you can always tell just how hard Danny's working by how far she's leaning. She showed, well, she's the great G-force monitor, I call it. I think we should throw away all the modern tech and just have hula girl.
I'm here for it. I mean, there's no better visual representation than that. To heck with G-meters. We just need a hula girl on every car, and we'll be able to know how much they're going.
Of course, Danny Lowry will be one of the favourites in XGT. He won last time out at Sebring. It is only round 2 of the championship, but I can probably give you a decent idea of how things are going. Chris Dyson has the most to do because, amazingly, you wouldn't have thought it because he makes so few mistakes, but Dyson actually crashed into Ernie Francis Jr. when he was at Sebring. Ernie coming back, of course he's a Floridian, and so therefore came back for just Sebring, currently about to race in sports cars, and looking forward to see if Chris Dyson can bounce back. But I have to say, Andretti on his birthday in this new car looking very strong indeed, and here is Chris Dyson getting ready to go. No team. Of course, Hamid Massoud and Matt Brabham have been partnering him over the last few years. The 16 Jim Weed car on his own this year. I don't know if that helps or hinders, but you can always do with a little backup. So, as you can see, the Ginetta heading out of pit lane, which means that we are going to get underway very soon. Tony Garcia in position. Let's hope he doesn't get too close to the cars. He frightens me sometimes. Chris Dyson frightened me earlier in the weekend. I was standing in his way as he was trying to get out of the pit lane, and so he just gave a little blip on his throttle and there threw me in the air. But anyway, he was having a bit of a fun laugh with me. So, why don't we now take a look at this circuit that is Road Atlanta.
Hi, this is Wally Dallenbach. We're here at Road Atlanta. We're going to show you a couple of good places to pass here at this racetrack. Very fast racetrack. We're going to start off as turn 1. This is a really good opportunity on starts and restarts. It's a very fast uphill corner, normally 3rd gear. Leads you into the S's where there's not going to be much passing in the S's, but this is where you can set up a guy coming out of turn 5. If you have a good run on somebody, you got a short shoot.
Taking
places to pass here at this racetrack. Very fast racetrack. We're going to start off as turn 1. This is a really good opportunity on starts and restarts. It's a very fast uphill corner, normally third gear. Leads you into the S's where there's not going to be much passing in the S's, but this is where you can set up a guy coming out of turn 5. If you have a good run on somebody, you got a short shoot to turn 6, which is a great place to get underneath somebody and try to make the move. And you can even stay side by side through this next little short into turn 7 and try to get off on the backstretch side by side. The best passing spot this whole racetrack is going to be at the end of the backstretch. This is heavy braking. There's a lot of room. It leads you into a real tight left and then right-hander, but probably the best place to pass here at Road Atlanta. And that's a lap around Road Atlanta.
And of course, this circuit, just 14 turns and 4 miles in length, and has kept its configuration since it opened back in 1972. So it definitely reaches iconic status. And this area here, where you see all the grandstands for the fans, is always the area where the action happens. Certainly the #1 overtaking spot. And they come out of this bridge and downhill. There she goes. Look at the G-force, and we're not even racing yet. I don't know what she's playing today, but she's going to be getting a workout for sure in the capable hands of Danny Lowry, our current XGT champion and representative, of course, of Bennett's BridgeHaul for this Bennett BridgeHaul Classic. We're on the warm-up lap, and DJ, obviously, we'll have every angle covered. I got a feeling Dreesy is in the mood today.
Yeah, I mean, when we talked to him on the grid, he seemed very poised, very collected, and very confident about his ability to go forward. As I said in that opening, said he made a little bit of a mistake on that qualifying run, but the car is fast, so I think he is going to be one to maybe pull a Wally Dallenbach from the last round. Dallenbach started 8th, ended up in 2nd. I think it could be Dreesy pulling about the same thing here today.
Well, it's interesting, you know, Wally Dallenbach supposedly retired, but he keeps coming back. Boris said the same. And we just love it. They're two great proponents of motorsport here in America. Two big names. Boris, of course, has retired several times. But look at the previous winners. Chris Dyson's won it 3 times. Boris said won it in 21. And, of course, Mark Raginger, the Austrian driver who is more of a Porsche man, but comes to Trans Am now and again and has won this race at Road Atlanta. But Chris Dyson, just by that fact alone, has to be favourite from pole position. But I do, and there's definitely a little bit of a soft spot, obviously, for my co-commentator of many years, Adam Andretti. But he's too busy to do commentary now because he's racing, and that's what we like, because there's nothing better than getting a current driver up in the mood and getting his views. But, of course, Adam driving both in TA2 and in TA. Got a good result yesterday. Let's see if he can turn this one into a good result. So he certainly had more track time, given the weather, than anybody else. He didn't have an off in TA2 in the first practice, but A-OK. And we'll get some nice shots from the Jim Weed car as we get ready to roll down towards turn 10. And as you can see, the lights on the Ginetta have now gone off, which means we will form up 2 by 2 to get ready for racing. Watch there, as Boris said. Watch out for him, because as I said, he's a guy that can win here, and he's been there or thereabouts whenever he's raced in TA, has Boris. But I know he'd like to start winning very soon. Under the bridge, forming up, ready to go. Here we go then. Trans Am, round 2 for the Bennett BridgeHaul Classic from Road Atlanta. Away they go then. On board there for a moment with Tommy Dreesy, looking for position. But a good getaway from Chris Dyson as he dives into the Mission Foods turn 1. Already Paul Menard, we haven't mentioned him, in 3rd position in the all green and black. Winner, of course, of the first race here at Sebring. So leading the championship as we go on board over the top of the crest with Tommy Dreesy. Now you see just how the drop to the stake section that is Cube 3 S's, and as we go on board with Wally Dallenbach, we hit the bottom of the valley and then back up, but a good clean start.
Yeah, a good clean start from everybody. A little bit of side-by-side farther back in the field. It looked like there that Boris said and Tommy Dreese were on it. I thought Chris Dyson at the front of the field was going to start to scamper off into the distance, but Adam Andretti able to close down through turns 2 and 3. That tells me he feels very confident in that car, able to be a little bit later on the binders early on. And to the surprise of nobody here, we ride on board with Danny Lowry as he starts to power ahead down the back straight.
Oh, and the Hula Girl is in full force too as he heads down the straight, but he of course leading XGT at the moment, but the top 3, Menard trying to stay with both Andretti and Dyson as they head down into turn 10A. Here is Amy Ruman on the podium in that Corvette last time out. That was a bit close for the Lucas Oil number 8 there, very close to Menard as they come under the bridge then. 1, 2, 3, Dyson leads. Good opening lap, and Andretti doing a good job of staying with Dyson early on. It's 100 miles, remember, 40 laps in all, and it's a long way to go yet, and always the possibility of a safety car. There's not a lot of room for offs here at Road Atlanta, and there is Keith Grant in 4th place at the moment. Back on board now with Dyson leading the way. Lead dog always gets the best view, and that's why Dyson already stretching his legs just a little bit. The gap was 0.3, but as you can see, he's trying to stretch it as he goes through 6. And I don't think Andretti will be too bothered by that as long as he keeps within a second. I've talked to Adam on many occasions, and we talk about, what is a comfortable gap between cars that you feel like you can make up in a lap or at least make a challenge. And he said, anything within a second or a second is doable. And so that, I think, will be the plan for Andretti, is just to stay within a second. No need to make a big move yet. There's a long way to go. And so just sitting there in 2nd place, he's getting a good draft effectively. That's helping his tyres. And, all in all, I would say that's probably the best position for him.
Yeah, that's going to be the best spot for him to be in. Within a second, you're going to be able to maximize the draft down that long back straightaway. You're going to get a little bit of dirty air when you're coming through turns 5 and 6 down through the S's. That's going to scrub a little bit more of the tires, but an experienced driver like Adam, he's going to know how to manage that, how to back off at just the right points, be a little bit later on throttle application so you're not spinning those rear wheels, anything like that. He's certainly in the catbird seat at this point, but that gap has grown up to 0.6 of a second, so he's got to watch it and make sure he doesn't let him get too far ahead.
And there is Boris said in the Poncho Weaver prepared Dodge Challenger in those Dago yellow colors. I think that first ran, if I remember rightly, at VIR a few years ago, and he was sensational in it. And Boris basically says the only reason he races now is if he's in a Weaver prepared car. He has so much faith in what Poncho does. And we've got our Emco Gears lap leaderboard for the first time, and of course it is 2 laps in with Chris Dyson leading the way. And in fact, actually, Herford's got ahead of Lowry in these first 2 laps, so he's now leading in XGT. So Lowry got a bit of a gap to catch up on Herford. He's currently in 10th as we're on board as they dive into 10A. Behind Lowry is Ricky Sanders in 11th, then Carlson, Coffey, Grant. 2 more Grants, I should say. We've got 3 Grants in all in this race, all related, all family races, and it's great. Milton and his son races, and of course Keith out front, or at least in 4th place. There's Danny coming through, and there's there's Herford coming through, and there's Danny Lowry right behind him.
Yeah, and an interesting thing about there in Herford and Lowry's machines, Shannon Herford actually driving the Mercedes-AMG GT3 Evo. That's an evolution of the standard model. It means a little bit more tweaking on the engine, a little bit more tweaking on the aerodynamic fiddly bits, as we like to call them on the car, so it's going to be a little bit better. Very technical. So it is theoretically a better car than the GT3 standard that Danny Lowry's driving, but Lowry has put up very fierce competition in it.
Keep an eye on Billy Griffin as well in the GT class as we see Danny Lowry, because Billy Griffin, a multiple champion in that class. And we welcome Jen Krapta in the number 93 Chevrolet, first time out in Trans Am, so we welcome her on board. And of course, it's a first season for Kylie Bryson as well, currently in 19th position. So the race settling down, 5 laps gone, no drama yet, but that doesn't mean we haven't got time for some. Dyson doing a good job. He's extended his lead just slightly over Andretti, but Andretti doing a good job, the birthday boy, of staying with him. And Menard holding station in third position. Menard going to do the whole series this year, so points matter to him. It's not all about just getting a victory, and so very important for Paul Menard to stay out on track. So Dyson diving into turn 6. On board with him, it's all stations and all systems go at the moment for Chris Dyson, but Dyson of all people knows how quickly things can go wrong in a TA race. He won't be taking anything for granted, and I think all of them right now just playing a waiting game, a fast one at that, but just a waiting game, and you see the gap is sort of kind of steady, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and I want to give credit again to Adam Andretti. We said that gap had extended up to 0.6 of a second. Adam was able to bring it back down to 0.4, and that tells me here at this point, it's a big spout of flame coming out the side of that car, that what Adam is doing is managing the gap, managing the tires, keeping everything in line, and waiting for that opportune moment to pounce. And I think Paul Menard probably doing the same thing. If we keep going like this is going to be a three-way slugfest between these three cars, as it looks like they have dropped Grant like a stone.
Yeah. Well, it's Mustang versus Camaro, as it's always been in Trans Am, and we've got the Dodge Challenger out there. We've not got too many Challengers in Trans Am these days, but delighted to have them on board. And as you can see, Adam actually now starting to make a move as the clock ticks down, and he's just, or the pair of them anyway, are just pulling away from Paul Menard in third position.
Yeah, a little bit of rubber banding going on here at this point, that he's pulling away and coming back. Adam maybe just got a little bit of a better run there down through turn 12 and wanted to press his advantage. And I think what he's probably trying to do, he's not looking for the overtake here. He's not looking to go for the move, but he wants to fill up Chris Dyson's mirrors and see if he can force that number 16 to make a mistake.
And you could see by the helmet angle of Chris Dyson how he's looking in the mirrors and literally watching. Oh, Danny Lowry has an off in the Mercedes. And luckily the car is still going and he's still going good, but he had an off. Whether he actually spun, I don't know, but either way, big moment for the number 2, Danny Lowry in XGT.
And that's a sketchy point to be able to have that. That's coming down into the S's.
Yeah.
That is a very, very scary point to slide out because the walls are so close to you on either side.
Well, as you can see, as he dives into 6, no problems here at the customer bank, turn 6 and 7. And now he gets back under power as we take a look for the first time at Wally Dollenbach in the Ultimate Headers Ford Mustang. Wally coming back into the fold, having retired from full-time racing, but he's pretty much done everything in racing that can be done. So a little footnote, believe it or not, if you do watch Talladega Nights, he's the commentator. I love it. Let's take a look at what happened to Danny Lowry, because it was a big off, but we can now see it. Let's have a look. DJ, what do you see?
All right, he's coming up here into turn 2 right now. Going to bring the speed around. It looks like there that he just put a little bit too much steering into the car, brought it a little too far left, and the rear end just kind of broke away on him. I've got to say, Danny, I want you to be buying me a lottery ticket tonight, because that accident, that little incident there could have been a lot worse.
I noticed that the hula girl broke a spring on that spin, which is a shame. But anyway, yep. No harm, no foul. That could have been a lot worse because the walls are very tight there. So, big moment for Danny Lowry, but gladly he is okay. We were watching Wally Dollenbach. He's currently in 8th, chasing Amy Ruman. And as I mentioned earlier, Dyson now already getting into traffic. And that is one of the factors, of course, of this race. When you're racing against production cars, these are unlimited, these engines. So, they've got something like 850 horsepower under the hood. So, it doesn't take long to catch a regular race car in production form. So therefore, a big factor in these races, tactical. And of all people, Chris Dyson and Andretti, Adam Andretti that is, in fact, one back in 2014 did Adam here at Road Atlanta. So it's a while back since he's won, and he would love nothing more to get back to winning ways, especially over the 3-time champion, going for his 4th consecutive title in a row, than to get past Chris Dyson and to go back on board with the mighty Dyson.
Yeah, we go back on board from here, but you may have heard me let that little eek of air out of me. That was Andretti getting very squirrely down into turn 7. I'd be a little bit worried here at this point. Yeah, he lost a lot of time. Maybe over pushing the car a little bit, trying to step out of his bounds, putting that pressure to the back of Chris Dyson. Watch for Andretti on the next lap or two to back off a little bit. I'd see that gap grow to about 0.8 of a second. Watch him to settle in, cool the tires, and then he may come on the attack again.
Yeah, a 120.6 by Dyson last time out. In fact, Andretti, a 127, so he didn't lose too much time actually, but even so, I agree with you. I think he's going to think better of it. Just lost a little bit of time there over the crest. This is where Danny Lowry went off a moment ago. There's no such problems, and he's caught it right back up as they go down to the bottom of the hill.
Credit where credit's due. There's another wiggle, though, and that's a really sketchy point to have that. That's about flat out, maybe a little bit of a feather of the throttle through the Cube 3S's. And now here's where this is going to get interesting, Jonathan. Coming up on lap traffic into turn 6 and 7. I think they're going to be able to make this down the back straight away, but this is all about timing for Dyson.
Yeah, Dyson's looking at turn 7 and thinking, right, I got to get past all 3 of these. And of course, Andretti's thinking the same. They've got, what, 3 cars ahead of them at the moment, and then 2 more just a little bit further ahead. There's 1. Count that one. Here's number 2. Done. That's Grant passed. And now Andretti will be right there, tucked in behind him. And now this is where it gets a little bit dicey, because coming into 10, there's going to be traffic. And one of them is the number 38 of Grant. Richard Grant, the number 30. And they nicely done. That's the beauty of watching Dyson. He's so good at just calmly going about his business and using the traffic almost to his advantage. And you can see Andretti's gone right there with him, and the pair of them just siding their way through gently, and nicely done so far. Go past Chris Coffey in SGT.
Oh, and this is where it's going to get sketchy.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yep. Don't want to be coming on lap traffic, coming down through the Cube 3S's. This is going to be Dyson having to back off big time and get this on a run through 5 and into 6.
Yeah, this is like a game of chess between these two. They really are kind of feeling each other out, and they both know each other's game. They've been racing so long against each other, but Andretti hasn't had the equipment underneath him to really go for it. And I think this year, now they've got this new chassis dialed in, and it is a beautiful state-of-the-art Trans Am car, and it's great that Trans Am is bringing new manufacturers and new chassis in, and this one is now dialed in. I remember when they first tested it last year at, I think it was St. Louis at the Worldwide Technology racetrack, and from there on in, it's just been dialed in bit by bit, and now with Andretti behind the wheel, they seem to have just kind of fettled it to what they want. Amy Ruman also used the traffic. Boris Said now all over the back of her as the 23 and Boris Said go head-to-head, two great champions of our sport. A couple of years ago, since Amy Ruman won the championship, Chris Dyson, though, still leading after 10 laps. And the gap says officially half a second, but I wouldn't count. I'm not looking at my scoreboard on that one. I'm just watching Andretti side his way through both the traffic and staying with Dyson nicely. And there really is nothing between them as we go through. And Dollenbach on his own at the moment.
Yeah, Wally's just driving his own race here at this point, and here we've got a little bit more of that lap traffic coming on through. Amy Ruman trying to be able to get a little bit of a draft there off the 40 of Keith Grant.
Nowhere to go.
Yeah, she's boxed in. She is going to be absolutely caught here, and Boris Said is licking his lips.
Yeah,
he knows this is a portion to attack.
Well, it's Keith Grant ahead of them, so this is 4th position, remember. Grant currently in 5th, Ruman 6th, and Said in 7th, but I think that's going to change, and Wally Dollenbach catching up quickly as well. He gets a little wiggle on out of 7th, but nothing. No harm, no foul. Great to see his hands doing the work as he goes through the gearbox. Now, Keith Grant did get away there in the Corvette. Here comes Boris Said, though. He's got the inside move. Classic overtake at Road Atlanta. Done job.
Brilliant stuff. Down to the inside. Very, very assertive on the brakes. Just simply outdrug and outbraked Amy Ruman there. That is textbook from Boris Said.
Oh, no! Wally Dallenbach was going all too well, and then it just went up in smoke, quite literally. Inside the car, so something's gone wrong inside. That's an engine issue. Oh, what a shame. That is a real shame for Wally. He was going... Mustang has just gone bang, sadly. Ah. Well, that's not the way to end the weekend. And now it's all happening. The number 41 goes round. That's Lindstrom, who gets a spin at turn 10. Luckily, Wally's made it back to the pit lane, but I think that's going to be terminal. What a shame. Wally Dallenbach out of this race. Well, his engineer peeks in and says, what do you reckon? And I think it's going to be a short conversation, and I think we're going to see Wally. Yep, the door comes off, and Wally's going to get out because he doesn't want to sit in a smoky car all day. Ah, what a shame. A lot of work and preparation. Oh, no! Dyson's gone off! Dyson has gone off here at Road Atlanta. Another big headline story for the Jim Weed number 16, and that leaves Andretti leading this race. Now, we don't know yet what exactly has happened, but I can tell you that's the second time in a row that Dyson has had a problem. He is not having the start to the season that we're used to from the three-time champion.
No, he's not, and that's going down into Bennett BridgeHaul turns 10A and B, and we're hearing a report that there may be oil on the track. I wonder if that's connected to Wally Dallenbach's machine.
I think what's happened is Wally's dropping oil or dropped oil on the way back to the pits, and Dyson's come across it not knowing, and unfortunately the marshal's not knowing because it was very quick. Let's take a look at what happened, and DJ, I think we already know what we're going to see, but let's take a look.
All right, as we come back into it, just comes onto the binders, rear end steps away. Yep, that's textbook. Exactly what we thought. He caught a little of that oil.
Yeah, no question. That was no question that it wouldn't be a driving error. Dyson doesn't make those, and you can see several other cars also falling foul to that. What a shame for Dyson. Now, question is, if I know Dyson, he'll be going like a wounded cat right now, because he is going to be going fast. Hard and fast, and that's the onboard of that same incident. You could see the Mercedes of Hereford also avoiding action, going across the gravel, luckily with no problems. But we're now under caution, and no surprise there, and that actually plays into Dyson's hands because that will give him as much catch-up as he can. And Dyson currently seen in 7th position. And I hate to say it, DJ, but I've seen this guy win from this position, if not from the back. So Andretti will not be relaxing by any means. He's got the championship leader behind him now, who's also got a second run at him because, of course, the field will close up now. And don't count out Dyson for this win yet.
No, I don't think you can. I think the other driver to watch out for, look at this, Tommy Treacy, up into 3rd place. We said he had a quick car. He may be able to make a little bit of a run, as we've got a couple of drivers coming down into pit lane here, including that is going to be your XGT driver, Danny Lowry.
Yeah, it is. Let's head down to Ben Sissel. He's got the Dyson team. Let's see what they say.
Well, thanks a lot, Jonathan. I'm here with Stevie Dix, who's currently talking to the driver, but right now we're here in the Jim Weed pits, and I'm hearing reports of oil there where Chris spun, I believe, at 10A, 10B, the Bennett BridgeHaul section of the track. What's your driver saying to you, Stevie?
Well, everything was going great there. We have a really good car this weekend, and we just went on a bit of the oil down on the track and got spun out there. But we're going to battle back, and we're going to finish up top this time. We're going for it.
Nice. And he's saying the car feels pretty good?
Yeah, everything's pretty good.
Nice. All right, well, thank you, Stevie Dix. Back up to you in the booth.
Well, no word of a lie. I'm with Stevie Dix there. It just shows you the confidence of a 3-time champion team. They're not even worried. They're like, he's still going to win this. So we're under caution here, and Andretti leads the way on his birthday of all things. Paul Menard, the championship leader, is in 2nd place, and look at the history those two have when it comes to racing. Adam, of course, has done single-seaters, stadium trucks. Of course, a lot of years, over 10 years of Trans Am. Paul Menard, of course, has done NASCAR, has done Xfinity, has done truck racing for many, many years. Now, he retired basically from the big time, but then has come back specifically because he loves to do Trans Am racing, and for the first time, he's been in and out for the last couple of years, but for the first time this year, he's plunked for a full season. Leads the championship at the moment. He's second in the championship, and it's going to be interesting to see just what these two can do. And as you point out, DJ, Dreesy will take this opportunity, if he can, to jump at the restart.
Yeah, he'll be looking to jump, and I'm also going to be very interested in that number 3. We highlighted Paul Menard earlier. We haven't seen a lot of attack out of Paul, and I wonder if that means he's been saving his stuff here, kind of letting Dyson and Andretti go at it, wear their tires out a little bit more, and if that is the case, Paul Menard's going to be able to jump right into this fray and maybe be able to take another sneaky win here today. Boris said also up in 5th. That's going to be something to watch out for. I'm going to be looking for that battle between Dyson and Said when they get into that position.
Yeah, you know, I said Paul Menard's been racing in NASCAR up until 2019, but look who he raced for: Dale Earnhardt, Yates Racing, Richard Petty Motorsports, Richard Childress Racing, and Wood Brothers. So you don't get a better CV resume than that. Dreesy. And Dreesy's no fool. He's got his MAV TV Motorsport Network sticker emblazoned right where we can see it. And of course you can see all, not just live, of the coverage of Trans Am on MAV TV this season. And if you want to catch up later in the week, or you've got something to do while this live race is on, don't worry, you won't miss a thing. Thursday nights from 8 p.m. Eastern, you can see back-to-back coverage of both the TA2 race and the TA Trans Am race, the one you're watching right now. There is sadly Dolenbach's car being dragged back to the pits. If you missed the start or you missed one of the cautions and why we're under caution, it's because Dolenbach's car basically went bang, and smoke pouring out and oil, more importantly, going down on the track. And I don't know if they're going to have somebody out there at 10 taking that oil on, but certainly won't be. They'll be a little bit gingerly taking on turn 10A this time. Certainly Dyson will be in 7th position. We'll see how he comes up through the ranks. He's got Ruman in front of him, and yes, they are doing just what I thought they might be, which is to check to see what is down there, what needs to be changed, if anything. And they're just, like you can see, just scraping. That's the old way of doing it. Just get scraping your foot along the side and see if it slips, and if it doesn't, then you hopefully that the oil has gone by then. They've got about 45 seconds, a minute before they get round there. Obviously a lot slower. Let's head down once again to Ben Sissel, who's got the Dolenbach team.
Well, thank you, Jonathan. I'm here with Wally Dolenbach Jr., and unfortunately, I just spoke to him, and he just said you blew up, huh?
Yeah, we blew a motor. We blew up pretty big on the end of the back straightaway. And, it's a shame because we're really still developing this car. And those last 3 or 4 laps, the car kept getting faster and faster. We were just kind of doing our normal deal. It was just going to sit and wait. And then I started seeing them coming to me, and I'm like, this is going to work out really good. But no warning, nothing, just fire and smoke there at the end of the backstretch.
Well, that's unfortunate for you, but somehow this car, this Ultimate Headers car, just always looks good. I know you've been working with John Cloud and Kurt Vogt and Cobra Automotive developing it, but we're going to see you more and more throughout the season, right?
Yeah, we're going to run, about 3 more races. And Steve and we had Dan Banks in this weekend, which has been fun. He's got so much knowledge. So we're learning so much every week. And, the car seems to be a really good race car. We can't get that qualifying speed out of it, but I don't really care about that. As long as we really work on race stuff. And the car, I thought the car was going to be really good today, but, this is all part of it.
Yeah, nobody knows more than you, right? Racing has its highs and lows, but that's Wally Dolenbach Jr. Beautiful car. Can't wait to see you at the next event. Thank you, Wally. Ultimate Headers, John Cloud, Cobra Automotive, thank you so much for your help. A beautiful car. Jonathan, back to you.
Good work, Ben, and sadly, yes, that famous name, Wally Dollenbach Jr., not finishing this off. And talking about, I don't know if you noticed, he mentioned his crew chief there, and that was Danny Binks. And Danny Binks is well known in NASCAR terms. Danny Binks worked on the likes of Tommy Kendall back in the day, and it was John Claggett telling me earlier this weekend that I should make a mention that Wally has got one of the finest from NASCAR over the years working on his car, and when you've got a career like Wally, you can bring those sorts of names to the field. And that is what's so great about current Trans Am. We've got youngsters coming through in TA2 who are making it into sports cars, NASCAR, you name it. And then we've got some really steady veterans that have been around racing for a long time. Boris said, Wally Dollenbach, obviously Chris Dyson, and many others. And now we're also attracting these top-end crew chiefs. I was talking to Jim Meyer, Jim Mayer's dad, Ben Mayer's dad, and yesterday, and they too have a very world-class NASCAR crew chief. So it's attracting some really good talent now, Trans Am, and long may it continue. This, the longest road racing series in America. Started back in 1966, and this our 41st Trans Am race here. Now, there you see, there you go. Putting now, and I'll turn to my scientist DJ here, who will tell me exactly what's in that dust and dirt.
Well, what it is what we like to call speedy dry. What that ostensibly is think of it as putting kind of a sand compound or an absorbing compound down on water on your kitchen table.
Yep.
It sucks up all of that moisture. You let it dry for a second, and then you brush it away so the moisture actually gets enveloped in these little pellets, these little sand-like pellets, and so then when you brush it off to the side of the track, that moisture from the oil will go away. Now, what that's going to do is it's going to clean up the track. It's going to make that line easier to be able to run. What's going to get interesting is that it's still suboptimal in terms of grip. When you try to brake, even when that speedy dry has been brushed away, there's still going to be a little bit of residue there, and there's going to be a little bit of kick up from everything. And so you're going to have a little less visibility, you're going to have a little less grip. So that's going to change the braking line in the approach line coming into Bennett BridgeHaul Turn 10.
And that's the point, is it's a heavy braking zone. You can see that they've specifically gone on the racing line. That is the racing line. It's a nice way to see it illustrated. It's like watching a sim, isn't it? That is the racing line, and sadly, Wally didn't come off it. I don't think he knew by then that he was dropping oil. He saw, obviously, that the engine had blown. He should perhaps have come a little bit further across, but no harm, no foul. It is what it is, and as you can see, the dust flying up. And yeah, they've used different compounds. The speedy dry is, if you like, the most modern iteration, and it's used in all forms of motorsport. It used to be, I don't know actually what the sort of chemical makeup of it is, but what your description was perfect there. It does its job well, but it used to be limestone. That obviously, grabs whatever's down on the surface, but it really does do a good job, and I've always been amazed. I've talked to drivers about it, and sometimes they say that the confidence they get with this new speedy dry is such that they don't even think about it. They just carry on, and as you say, though, it's going to be in your head. But let's head down now once again to Ben Sissel while we're under caution.
Yeah, I'm down here with Pancho Weaver with Weaver Concepts, the guy that built that beautiful Dodge Challenger that Boris is in, currently in 5th place. What's your driver saying out there?
He's saying he's having a good time, but he's really looking for a little more carburetor. Is still messing with us, been messing with us the whole weekend. We thought we had a good grip on it, and it accelerates fairly well, but we're on top end. We're losing about 5 car lengths to Dreesy each and every lap. So, you just can't make up that time in the corners. And but he's saving his tires, and you never know what's going to happen. So we'll just pass our time a bit and see how it works out at the end.
We're not going to say the who's and the how's and the whys of this, but the beautiful thing about this Trans Am family and the paddock is you've been having trouble with your carburetor. A competing team, a competitor, actually kind of helped volunteer and put this together, rebuilt the carburetor for you, and you're out there. And that's just kind of the nature of this paddock, isn't it?
It is a good group of people. We love this kind of race, and innovation's welcome, and it's like a huge family here, and we all help each other, and we did get some real good help in the carburation area. Of course, we needed a little bit more help with that. There's something plugged or not quite right, and we'll get a handle on it eventually. Not today, probably, though.
Nice. Well, that's Pancho Weaver, Weaver Concepts. the engineer designer of that beautiful car. And the Boris said is in. Boris said, you know, kind of came out of retirement for what, the 15th time to race with you in Trans Am. He just cannot stay away. We saw Boris said Jr. in the race yesterday, so that's really cool. And then Boris said and Boris said Jr. are going to be with us later in the season at Lime Rock at the SpeedTour All-Star race. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Poncho, thank you. Jonathan, back up to you in the booth.
Great stuff. Always good to talk to Poncho Weaver. I did some commentary with Poncho last year, and that was fun. Great character and a great designer. And in fact, he had a hand also, not just in these particular cars, but he also had a hand in designing the current NASCAR design that we see today. So quite a player is Mr. Weaver. And there is Boris said, and talking of players, winner of the Rolex 24 Hours in GT, also won the 24 Hours of the Nürburgring, and has been a BMW driver for a long, long time as well. Runs a dealership in California and has won in NASCAR, Truck Series, and Xfinity. So Boris said he really is a household name when it comes to American racing. And now his son, of course, just 18, but doing the business. And now representing in Hendrick's colours is Boris said Jr., and we'll be seeing a lot more of him as the season goes on, and also, I'm sure, Boris himself. Well, the MCO Gears lap leaderboard tells us that after 11 laps, Chris Dyson led, but then spun round on the oil, and that gave Andretti the lead, and now he will lead us to the restart. And DJ, this restart is going to be critical to this race.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very crucial here, I think, for all these drivers. I would not be surprised if we see Paul Menard maybe flex a little bit of that aggression, but I think the driver to really watch is the one on your screen here at this point. Chris Dyson is going to be going for broke. He knows that when we get going back to green, we're going to have about half of this race left to go. Indeed, we're hearing here that we're going to get restarted next time by, and so Dyson's going to be on a hustle here at this point.
Oh, no question. And he's got the time to get back up there. But, of course, I don't mean to be rude to those between the top three and Dyson, but I think he'll get easy passage or easier passage up to Menard, and then it's going to get tricky.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be the hard thing, and I think the thing that could put him on the back foot here is the fact that he's going to have to get by Paul Menard, and then he is going to have to get his way on by him and the Andretti if he wants to get this win. For Adam Andretti, this course is simple. Nail this restart and get as big of a gap as you can.
Go, yeah. I mean, I know he's got to kind of throw caution to the wind a little bit, at least create a gap that makes it unassailable for anybody else to catch him. It's also going to be interesting watching Dyson. He's in 7th, but I noticed as they went up the hill, Chris Coffey is ahead of him and a couple of other cars before he gets to Ruman. So there's 2 cars that are in different classes that are ahead of Chris Dyson, and that shouldn't be a problem, and he should dispense with them, and he'll certainly want to dispense with them before they get into the S's section. There's Amy Ruman. She is currently in 6th. Now, there's 2 cars between. There's one, and that, I think, so he's got to get past Chris Coffey in the Maserati. That shouldn't take too long because he's in a different class. Obviously, it's a less powerful engine. In comes the safety car. We're on board with Tommy Dreesy. He's going to try and really go for it here. Away they go. A little wiggle from Andretti. A slight mistake from Andretti, and that's allowed Paul Menard to get right up the back end of Andretti's car, and he goes to the wide and tries to get round the outside. It's not going to be. Keith Grant under pressure from Boris said as they head up the hill then at this restart. Andretti's got it, but only just. And Menard got a really good restart there. And Andretti just had a slight wheel, that's all it was. Dyson, as you can see, down the S's, and he's not done what I said he might. Well, he has, he has done exactly what I thought he might, which is get past those 2 cars quickly. But now he's in the real fight against Ruman and Keith Grant.
And absolutely incredible stuff there from Boris said, side by side up through turns 2 and 3 with Grant. That is such a sketchy area, and said just absolutely put the car on the limit and got the position.
And as they dived into 6th, definitely defensive driving from Amy Ruman. I just think that the Dyson setup is going to be stronger than that Corvette, and sure enough, he jinks out of 7, comes to the Motul Bridge, and now we come to the critical turn 10A coming up where the oil and the speedy dry is down, and no, look at the power of that Corvette. Wow, Amy Ruman's got some real power underneath that hood, and she holds off Dyson easily there coming into 10, and the speedy dry is almost gone, and no problem so far, and Dyson has to do it all again. Now, does he have the grunt? up the hill. He's certainly trying, but Amy Ruman says no thank you. She is one of the greatest defensive drivers. Some of the battles she's had, particularly with Tommy Dreese over the years, have been sensational. She knows how to make that red car from McNichols, number 23, the family affair. She knows how to make it as wide as she can, and she's not going to let Dyson pass at all if she doesn't have to.
No, and what she did coming over the crest there at turn 11 was absolutely brilliant. Planted the car in the middle of the road, forced Dyson to get offline. That caused, in turn, Dyson to have a little bit of a bobble there, lose the rear end, had to back off through turn 12, and that bought her breathing time all the way through the Cube 3S's.
Now look at her just slightly. She'll just move slightly to the middle of the track. Dyson not able to get up the inside. She's got good power, like I said, in that car. He's not definitely got an advantage on her at this point, but look how close he is, and we're on board now with Dyson as they exit 7, and he'll have another go before 10 now, I'm sure. But look at the way the Corvette just slightly pulling away there.
Yeah, I mean, she's got the absolute top-end speed here to be able to pull away. That's very impressive. What Dyson's going to have to do is he is going to have to be braver than Amy Ruman to be able to get this pass to work. But Ruman, whether wanting to avoid that speedy try or take it a defensive line slightly off to the left, making Dyson do this the hard way.
Yeah, I think she's doing a defensive drive right now. Look how she's coming across the track, and that's not where she wants to be. She jigs back out, and this is a great race. So we've got pockets of racing all around the track. Boris said, now in his own battle with Dreese, those two clung together. Menard and Andretti are less than half a second between each other. There you see it visually. Menard all over the back of Andretti, but Andretti doing a good job, and the pair of them pulling away from the field. I think both of them thinking they'd much prefer a two-way fight than a three-way fight, and they know deep down in their hearts that Dyson's coming and coming hard. But at the moment, Amy Ruman is playing a good role for these two because she's holding up Dyson for as long as she can.
Yeah, she is, but let's think about the big picture on this in terms of Paul Menard. I mean, he is sitting on a podium position after taking the win in Sebring. Andretti was a DNF, I believe.
Yeah.
Dyson was a DNF. He is going to be sitting incredibly well in the championship standings if he's able to hold on to this podium, or dare I say, even be able to get a win out of the jaws of Adam Andretti here.
Yeah, I think Menard's probably, his plan will be to try to force Adam into a mistake. So do exactly what he's doing, which is just, you know, I think it's harder to race in your mirrors, as we call it, because you're constantly trying to think exactly what that, and I just saw Amy Ruman coming out of the corner of my eye. She too is still holding station with Dyson as they cross the line again. Well, it's so hard to go. I wish we had 50 camera crews because we need them right now because there's battles everywhere, but this is the one that we're watching quite rightly. First and second, and look at the gap they pulled away. It's 3.5 seconds from Dreese in third, but Dreese's got said all over the back of it, and Ruman is still holding off Dyson in 6th and 7th. What a cracking TA race. One for the ages, this one, and no question about it. It may only be round 2, but we've got some cracking racing, and if this goes on all season, we are in for a big season here of racing. And Dreese still holding on. Keep an eye on how he looks in the mirror. Just, yeah, there you go. Just a little jink of the head just to see exactly where the opponent is. And that's why I say it's hard doing that. It's got to change your concentration because you're doing two things. You're trying to stay on the line in your usual line, but you're also trying to defend. And that's exactly what Dreese's doing right now as he dives into 10A. Dyson, no progress made for the Jim Wheat 16.
No progress here at all, and I think here at this point, Ruman is doing the same thing that I saw out of Tommy Dreese, and that's something I like. Checking the rear view mirror on the straightaways, not into the braking zone, not off of the corners, but on the straight when you have a chance to breathe. If you're looking at your rear view mirror coming into a turn, coming into a braking zone, that's going to cause you to miss that brake point by maybe even just 5 feet, but that 5 feet can be 5 miles an hour difference when you're coming down the straightaway, and it's a difference between 5th and 6th.
You know, there's a passage of time also where frustration starts to set in because Dyson is probably still kind of kicking himself that he went round on the oil when he had really, a race to win, and he had it all in control. So he's going to be feeling it. Now, though, several laps have passed and he just cannot get past Amy Ruman, and it's going to get frustrating, and that's when the monkey mind starts to come in and you make decisions that you perhaps might normally make. That said, Dyson is one of the most accomplished and calm drivers I've ever watched, but even he will get frustrated bit by bit as this goes on. Look at this, another battle, XGT this time between Herford and Lowry. Lowry all over the back of Herford. They're currently 8th and 9th overall, and Lowry would love nothing better than to win his home race, and of course it is the Bennett BridgeHaul Classic. So with that Bennett's on the side here, he's going strong. Would you believe it? He's had a spin already, but he's still there and in second place, chasing hard down on Shannon Herford.
And again, the advantage here for Shannon Herford is going to be a little bit of increased aerodynamic performance on that GT3 Evo. They've just sculpted the body a little bit more, added some more of the dive planes, gotten things easier. So I would certainly expect for that Evo to really accelerate down the straightaways better, like we're seeing now. But Lowry got to make that time up in the corners.
You can see how far the extension is definitely grunt underneath that hood, because he gets away about 3 or 4 lengths. There's the braking you mentioned, and yeah, exactly, Danny Lowry having to do heavy braking just to stay with him. But look how he goes off into the distance. That's really quick, and he gaps him by about 3 or 4 car lengths very quickly.
Yeah, and as we watched on board there, you saw something interesting as he came down to the hill. There's a little patch of asphalt that has been redone here at this circuit, and it causes the rear end of the car to step out ever so slightly under compression, so we're seeing drivers feather the throttle there as they go.
Yeah, and the MCO Gears leader lap leaders tells us that Andretti now has led more laps than Chris Dyson did. He's now led for the full 12 at the front, and it's getting busy out there. Look at this. Great action. Right in the middle of it is Chris Coffey in that pink and black Maserati, winner last time out in GT. Meanwhile, finally, Dyson's done it. And next, it's Keith Grant, and he won't be any easier either, but he's finally got past Amy Ruman, and I think he probably did that coming into 10. And now he's got some clean air between himself and Grant. Grant currently in 5th place, so Dyson on the chase, and a hard one at that. 25, we're over the halfway point. He's got time, 40 laps, remember, so he's got time to do it. It's just whether he gets stuck behind another guy trying to get past. But if I know Dyson, he will make the most of it. Let's take a look at what happened then. Chris Dyson finally getting past Amy Ruman, and DJ, I'm pretty sure this is coming into 10, but we'll find out. Here we go.
Good slipstream down the back straightaway, just tucks in behind Ruman. Little early on the brakes, a little bit over to the left, and Dyson just doesn't put up with it. That is just sheer commitment to the corner for Chris Dyson, powering his way on by.
And I know you're a sim racer. If you are watching and you're at home and you are a sim racer, that is how you overtake at Road Atlanta.
Exactly.
Great stuff. Now, he's already caught up with Keith Grant. But Keith Grant is an accomplished IMSA and sports car driver, just like Chris Dyson and his dad. And he, like all of them out there, sadly, Menard is pulled off into the pits. I've just noticed out of the corner of my eye while we watch all the battles that Menard is pulled out of this race. So they are playing into the hands of the birthday boy. Dreesy now moves up to 2nd, and Boris said, there he is in for 3rd place here in this race. What has happened to Menard?
I don't see any smoke coming out of the side of that car here at this point, but he is definitely slowly coming down into pit lane.
It looks mechanical because I can't see any dirt or, issues with the car from the outside anyway, so it's definitely a DNF, though, because he's just slowly rolling in into his pit box, and there is nobody except his engineer to greet him. And so I don't think, they're lifting the hood. There's something on the inside of that car that is not right. What a shame. The championship leader, and you said it yourself, he's just, all he had to do to maintain his championship lead was finish the race. Now, back with the leader, here is Adam Andretti. What a wonderful moment for the top line at 17. He just needs to hold it all together. And if I know Andretti, he'll be keeping an eye on that 7-second lead over Dreesy. He may let it fall to maybe 3, but that'll be as far as he wants it, because he won't want Dreesy right behind him at the end of this race. So it's a case of now managing the car, and remember, this would be the first win for this car in my mind. There is Dreesy. Boris said, and Dreesy's got past Boris said. Oh no, just as I say that, he goes off at 1, And yeah. Oh, Tommy. Ugh, what a shame.
Just trying to defend a little bit too hard there at that point. I think Jonathan carried a little bit too much speed coming into turn 1 and barely got that left rear tire out onto the grass, and that is just enough to cause wheel spin and cause the car to head out into the outside.
Well, you can see he's trying to sort of drop it down a little bit off the hill so he can get it going. He's still got the engine rolling. We can hear it. But, yeah, he's going to just try to slowly put too much power down. You just get wheel spin. And we've had a lot of wet weather here, so that's going to be really damp out there too. So he's just basically, you know, cautiously getting onto the track. He's done it. Let's take a look at what happened, DJ.
All right, well, this is going to be Boris Said on the attack here, coming down the front straightaway. Said takes a look to the inside, tries to outbrake him. Dreesy very quick. I don't think there was contact, but he loses it halfway through the corner there. Excuse me, that wasn't the tire. That was Tommy Dreesy being too aggressive with the steering, carrying too much speed into the corner, and those rear Pirellis just wouldn't put up with it.
Yeah, he was damned if he did, damned if he didn't, because look, he has to come offline the normal line. Look, so he's wider than he normally would be. Then he tries to turn in, and he's just kind of going too fast, really, because he's trying to defend the position. But that's racing, folks.
Yeah.
Even the best have their moments. And Tommy Dreesy will now be on the run to try and go forward. We're back with Tyson now. Tyson, it should be Tyson. He's in a fight, that's for sure, but it's Dyson, not Tyson. Chris Dyson right behind Keith Grant right now. This the battle for now third place. So Dyson's been given a bit of a gift now, and so he can see both Said in second place, and of course he's got Grant right there, and he's tucked up behind the Corvette, and now surely he's going to make a move as they exit 7.
Yeah, and I think this is a perfect opportunity. A little bit of a wiggle there for Grant coming out of the corner. Kaylee Bryson, a couple of these slower cars in front. That's going to give Dyson the opportunity to get the draft. But Keith Grant, with a much better top line than I thought he was going to have down this back straightaway. He's going to make a move down to the inside there of one of our other GT entries, and that's going to prevent Dyson from really being able to get anything, and he's going to lose some time there. That is great traffic management from Grant.
Wow, that is good stuff. I misspoke there. Of course, he's in the Camaro, is Keith Grant. But Dyson doing a great job of weaving his way through the traffic and making the most of it. And here he comes alongside now, Keith Grant. And past him he goes, and up to third place. So already Dyson... Or was it Grant? I'm not sure. Well, very similar car, but we'll find out.
I don't think it was. Grant. Okay. He's still got to catch him up here at this point.
I'm all excited today.
Hey, it's a great race. I don't blame you.
Well, I know for sure that Dyson's got some work to do. Nicely done, past the Audi. No problems that time, but he's still got work to do, and the laps are ticking down. We're now coming to the 10 lap point of the race, and Dyson's got it all to do now if he's going to really have a challenge for this race. There's Keith Grant in front of him now, finally. Up to 4th goes Dyson, and through the traffic he's got, and now his sights set firmly on Keith Grant for a podium position at the end of this race, and 10 to do it in.
He's got 10 to do it in, and now that they've cleared that traffic here at this point, I think we're going to see the advantage shift back to Chris Dyson. Dyson's got better speed there, but Grant's traffic management on that last lap bought him a couple of laps time. The question is what is Dyson going to be able to do once he gets up to him, and how close is this going to be up to Boris Said? It's about 2 seconds right now, so I think if Chris Dyson's going to have any opportunity to look for that second place position, he's got to make this move on Grant in the next lap and a half.
Well, and he needs some points on the board, quite simply, as a champion, to get his championship going, because he didn't get any points, of course, having not finished his Sebring. He probably did because of the point system. He will have got a few, but not anywhere near the haul of over 100 you get for winning. If you're not missing anything at the front, Andretti is leading by 10.4 seconds over Boris Said. It's easy plain sailing at the moment for Andretti as he goes on to what will be a famous victory if he can do it for this brand new chassis. Looking forward to this one, and no better day than to do it on your birthday. Andretti's racing all over the world. There's one in NASCAR at the moment, in Marco. Michael, of course, trying to get into Formula One. Mario still going strong. And it's a real family affair. And again, Hereford and Lowry stuck together for the battle for XGT as they continue their huge battle with each other for XGT Challenge. It's good fun spending time on board with Danny Lowry as he puts the car through its paces, and you can just see, as you mentioned, that there's quite a difference between these cars, and it's in this twisty section that Lowry's best placed to get close to the man in front of him, but it's just on outright speed. You'll watch them come into 6 here, he'll tighten it up, look, and as they dive through 6 and 7, he's right there with him. Again, gets even closer this time, but now watch how Hereford in the 51 starts to pull away.
Yeah, and that's just a result of that evolution of the car. It's a little bit better tuned, but of course, as soon as we say this is Lowry being a little bit closer than I've seen him. He's got a real nice draft here. This could be a move coming down independent BridgeHaul turn 10.
Yeah, that's the best he's been doing, and just losing out at the last minute there, under braking, but Lowry is definitely in the hunt for sure.
And it looked like there that Lowry actually lifted off coming into the corner. So I think, to me, that tells me Lowry feels confident about where he is and doesn't feel that he needs to make that overtake quite yet, and instead can pick the perfect opportunity.
Yeah, with this amount of laps to go, what you want to do is make it stick and then take it to the finish. So, you know, maybe 3 laps, maybe 2 laps, that's the time, if you can control it that way, to do it, because it makes it almost impossible to be retaken, because you're running out of laps, and of course each and every lap the tires are going off a little bit more. And so you just want to do it. Your timing has to be excellent for this.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, we often talk about timing passes when we're racing on an oval or something like that, but it's also so crucial when you're coming into a road course like this. I often think about the timing when you have to get it perfectly right on a circuit like Spa, but we've got a replay here coming up.
Yeah, and this is an overtake, and it's Grant making a move. And again, another textbook overtake at turn 10, getting past 36 of Joshua Carlson. That in SGT. Now Lowry again down that back straight. Deja vu, because this is how it was just a lap ago. Now how close can he get this time? Don't think he's going to do it though. No, he's not. Gets close, but he's not just close enough yet.
Yeah, not quite close enough. And if you talk about a big send there, that was Jeff Lindstrom in the Griffin Auto Care Sheehan's Towman Ford Mustang that he came around. And I think Danny just kind of recognized that, as you said, didn't have the run and didn't necessarily want to put anything out to the side with another slower car there to get in the way.
So through turn 1, the Mission Foods turn 1, and up the hill they go. I love being on board here. You can see how blind it really is as you crest that hill and then drop off. And Dyson now still behind Grant. He's not made any inroads on getting past Grant just yet. He's biding his time, and a podium I think would suffice right now. I think he's probably calculated that there's no way he's going to catch Sed, who is quite a way up the road. But anyway, hope springs eternal. But he'll want a podium out of this after what was going to be a good win potentially for him. Just slipping on the oil. If you missed it, Dollenbach went off earlier in the race down the mash and straight here between turns 7 and 8, and then started dropping oil as he dived into 10, and then realized and pulled straight out. But by then there was oil on the track. Dyson came over it and just spun the car, simple as that, and he's got through, and that is good driving once again by Dyson. And now can he get any further, we wonder? There are, 7 laps to go, and Dyson is, as we expected, making his way to the front.
Yeah, and that was a textbook setup there for him coming out of turn 5, using that acceleration, using a lot of those exit curves that we talked about in an earlier broadcast have been flattened out here at this point, so you can run up onto them. Just got down to the inside of the banked Customers Bank turn 6 and made the move on Grant. Now it's a question, can he close down that nearly 2-second gap up to Boris Sed?
Well, interestingly enough, Boris Sed just posted a 120.9 to a 120.3 by Dyson, so he's definitely quicker, and he's got rid of another car in his way. Sorry, that's Dominic Greasy just getting through some traffic too. We're on board with him. Greasy currently in 6th position, recovering well. He's doing exactly what Dyson did, having gone off at turn 1. So Dyson trying to make the best of it, and so too Tommy Dreesy, now chasing down his arch nemesis, which of course is Amy Ruman.
Yeah, and at this point, I think for Tommy Dreese, he's just got to try to come away with as many good points as possible, not make any more mistakes here at this point, and think about the championship. Now, that's going to be a scary sight in front of him. That's Joshua Carlson twitching through that area of asphalt that we talked about. And that's why Dreese backed off. He didn't want to be a part of that.
Well, Dreese gets through on another, and unfortunately that wasn't for position, different class there, but Dreese safely through there and on his way. The gap between Andretti and Said is now 8 seconds, so Boris has also upped his game with 5 to go. And Andretti will be under pressure at the end of this race. Likewise, Danny Lowry has finally got past Hereford. We knew it was going to happen, it was just a matter of when. And Lowry now leads and looks as though he'll extend his lead in the XGT Championship after winning in Sebring.
Yeah, and that's making Danny Lowry there. It's making Mercedes-AMG engineers the worldwide scratch their heads a little bit as the normal GT3 being able to beat out the GT3 Evo.
Good point, yeah, very true. But that's the beauty of this track, is that it's one of those technical tracks where it's about the driver less than it is about true horsepower per se. Let's take another look at how he did it, because knowing Danny, it will have been a nice clean move. Here it is, and yeah, sure enough, coming down the hill, yeah, he got a much better run from 7 to 10, and therefore didn't really need to do an overtake. He'd already done it on the straight. So nicely done by Danny Lowry. Through goes Boris Said, and right behind him will be Dyson coming up now. I said, just got my timing wrong there. Actually, Dyson might not get through. There he is, just behind. No, he hasn't. So he'll want to clear Lowry as quickly as he can, so he can go in pursuit of Dyson. I'm going to go so he can go in pursuit of Boris Said. I'm going to check on the times again as they cross the line. Boris Said does a 1:20.9, and again it's another 1:20.3 from Dyson. So both of them consistent, and in fact actually a 21.2 by Boris Said last time out, and a 21.0. So actually doing a good job, Boris, at the moment. Just keeping and maintaining the gap between the pair of them. So try as he might, Dyson not making any inroads. What a fascinating race this has turned out to be. 4 laps to go. And DJ, are you enjoying this?
Oh, I'm absolutely loving it. And yeah, I mean, to your point, Boris Said putting in the time, getting his way ahead, 0.2 of a second a lap is a good gap to be able to bring down for Chris Dyson, but it's not going to be enough. He needs to get that gap under a second here, and then we can start talking, because under a second the draft really starts to come into play, and that's where you're going to see gobbles of time absolutely start to go by the wayside. But I'm going to make a prediction here. I don't think Dyson's going to get Boris before this is said and done.
All right, I like that. And one thing I will say, I'll make a prediction. This is going to be a wonderful day at the office for one Adam Andretti. What a day it's turning out to be, because another spinner. This time the 93 goes round, and that's Jen Krapta in her first Trans Am race. She, of course, as I said, is usually an SVRA driver, but she spun it round, and let's hope she gets it going, because I wouldn't want to see this this race finish under caution. She's still out on track. No, she's got it going. And no harm, no foul, though she'll want to get it in position where she's not in the way. Must be very scary.
Is she actually off in one of the
outlets?
She's
actually on the runoff, yeah. So she's actually, that's okay. Yeah, so she was actually out of harm's way for a moment there, but now she's back on the real track, as it were. And that was just over the, that was into turn 3, into the Cube 3, turn 3. So well done to her, getting that righted, as it were.
I think Amy Ruman may have had a little bit of a heart attack coming out there over the crest of that hill and seeing that car, but both drivers able to handle it very well. And that's going to be a credit there, not only to Amy, but to Amy's team for being able to call that out, saying car spun down in that area. They'll let Amy know that. Amy will back off a little bit to make sure that she doesn't come upon a stranded car, and that's that good communication that has got to exist between driver and team, that implicit trust that goes so far.
Yep, no question about it. Andretti, though, and the gap has come down to 3 seconds between he and Said. Now, I said that will be as far as Andretti wants it to go. any closer than that, and he'll start to get a little nervous. He's led, as you can see from the MCO Gears lap leaderboard, that he's led the 26 laps, and Dyson led 11. And so it's going to get nip and tuck now for these last few laps for the birthday boy that is Adam Andretti. What a family to be part of. It must not be easy. Jared races currently. Marco races currently. Jeff Andretti was a great driver. Michael Andretti's success in Indy is second to none. And, of course, Mario Andretti, a world champion in Formula One. John Andretti, likewise, a very successful career. Aldo, the father of Adam, twin brother to Mario, also had many, many great races before he had an accident and decided to hang it up. Mario still circulating at 80 or 83, I think it is. So what a family, what a competition to be in. I'd love to have Thanksgiving with them, those guys, talking about old times. But now it's Adam's day, and it's his birthday, and he's on his way to victory. But Boris said, won't give him an inch. I can assure you of that. And here comes Dyson. He's weaving his way through. He gets past Richard Grant. He's still got his sights on that day glow yellow. You can see it so clearly. But here comes Adam Andretti.
Yeah, here he comes. He's been able to get that gap a little bit better here at this point, bring it up to about 2.2. No, excuse me, that was another bad lap for Adam. He ran a 1:23.3, whereas Boris said putting in a 1:21.8. Now, with only 2 laps to go, this could be a little bit of management. Adam's also got some lap traffic in between himself and Boris, so that can help him out a little bit. But at the same time, you do not want to be looking at a gap shrinking underneath 1 second with that white flag coming out.
No, exactly. There you see Boris said, and he'll have a visual in his mirrors now of, and funnily enough, you say, where are the mirrors? Well, he's got a digital mirror. In fact, we were looking inside that car earlier today, and he's got a huge dash, and that actually acts as a rear view mirror as well. And so that's how he's watching that day glow yellow coming closer and closer. But thankfully, the checkered flag is also coming closer and closer as we look down. Dyson's just got said. How did that happen? Dyson's got to second place. In the dying stages of this race, Boris said has got some sort of problem because he breezed by him there too easily, and I think Said's in trouble.
Well, remember, we heard earlier from Ben's reporting down on pit lane that there were some carburetor issues there with that machine. They were trying to figure some things out, get everything together. But white flag in the air for Adam Andretti.
But look at Dyson. He's right there with him. The gap is 3 seconds, but Dyson's on a charge for the victory. We knew this would happen, and Andretti didn't count it out. And now he suddenly says, oh, I've just swapped Dayglow Yellow for purple and white. And that is the worst possible scenario for Adam Andretti. He's got to hold tight, has Andretti, and go for victory here against the 3-time champion.
Now, Dyson was about a second faster on that last lap, and that includes having to get by the slower Boris said. What can Dyson do? Can he close down this gap in time?
Here we go. We're coming into turn 6 for the final time. He's got about, 2 seconds on him at the moment. They dive through 7, nice and steady. Dyson, though, pushing hard. See if he can win this race. What a win it would be if he could do it. But Andretti, well, it was like this in qualifying. Andretti thought he had the pole, and now he thinks he has the win, but Dyson never count him out. But we're getting now down to the last 3 corners, and if he hasn't done it by now, he's not going to. He just needs to hold it all steady. But look how close Dyson is at 10, 10A, and now 10B. He's right there with Adam Andretti. It's going to be a photo finish between these two. He comes across to defend. The checkered flag is out, and it's just a win for Adam Andretti. Happy birthday, my friend. And what a way to do it, too, to beat Chris Dyson in that way. Dyson on an absolute tear to try to win it. That's the way you want to win motor races. And his wife, who works with the team, Tabitha, is congratulating the whole team. That's their first win with this car. What a moment, what a day, what a time for Adam Andretti to win. Well done. And to beat the champion doing it, excellent.
And there, as we see, that's Danny Lowry coming across the line, proving everything old is new again. The older spec of that GT3 model and the number 42 taking victory.
Danny Lowry finishes 7th overall and wins XGT. Meanwhile, SGT is Richard Forsythe who wins that one. He hasn't had too many wins, and he holds off Milton Grant as 11th and 12th. Great stuff. Well, take the applause, Adam. He's such a fan favorite and such, Well, actually, he's more of an industry favorite. I know that the marshals, he rides around, he drives a motorhome, so he's here a lot of the time. He knows everybody at each and every track. He's a really popular figure, and this is going to be a popular win in Trans Am, and it'll resound, of course, across the Andretti family, and it's just great to see. It's not easy when you are the nephew of one of the greatest drivers of all time. It's hard to make a name for yourself, but Adam has done it, and he's continuing to do it. What a great race that was. We didn't see a lot of it because he was so far out front, but the restarts, he had plenty to do, and he used them well, got away well. That last one was a little bit twitchy, and Menard was very close to stopping him, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, just pulled in, having some sort of mechanical issue. So he got a little luck, but that's motor racing. And the top liner chassis, the brand new Meissen chassis, doing the business, and really impressive.
Yeah, really, really great stuff there from Adam and from the entire team here at this point. And that car developed right here in Georgia, as a matter of fact. So a little bit of a home win for the car itself. But they're going to pull on down into pit lane here. It's going to be a very fired up Adam Andretti. And that family, I'll tell you what, there may be a lot of them, but they only know how to do one thing, and that is win. And Adam did it quite well here today.
What a day for the top line at Go Share Chevrolet Camaro of this man, Adam Andretti, and Chris Dyson coming into the pits likewise in his Ford Mustang from Jim Weed. And I think good day at the office, though, for Chris, despite the spin. And Stevie Dix pushing him into position. But what a day, and what a great race for TA. And in a moment, we'll head down to Ben Sissel, where hopefully he'll get our top 3 drivers, but it just doesn't get any better than that. It really was superb. Well done, Adam. We'll see that long hair in a moment and a big smile. Deservedly so. It's pretty trick. I showed you the inside of that car. It's pretty neat, isn't it? A lot of work has gone on to this new car. Designed by Burton.
You gotta get out, Adam.
You gotta get out, he says. He doesn't want to get out.
Taking a moment to savor it. I absolutely love it.
Adam. I love it. The Jim Weed victory circle, and you can hear the scream inside the helmet of a very, very happy man. Well deserved. It's been a while, but he's done it. He's going to savor every last second of it, and well he might. I love to see pure joy. Come in here, he says. What a moment.
That's for you boys. Yeah.
And that's the first win for that car.
Yeah, I knew you could do it. Woo.
Well, Ben Sissel is standing by. There's the wife. Oh, and the kiss. Doesn't matter that it's through the helmet. She actually mechanics his car, and he says to me, he goes, you know, I never feel safer. I know that, I know that the right person is looking after me.
How about that? There you go.
I tell you, this is going to be a congratulations around the paddock, not just within this team. He's going to be high-fiving folks every which way down that paddock lane. Off comes the Bell helmet finally, and we'll go down to Ben Sissel to savor this great moment.
Well, Adam Andretti, happy birthday. How about that? To win your race at Road Atlanta with Claudio Burton, this top liner 1.7 Camaro on your birthday for the Atlanta team of Burton Racing. That's got to feel so good.
I'll get this mop out of my face here. Those of you that know me and fans and family and friends, I'm usually not speechless. That's why I sat in there for a moment to reflect, because it's just you don't get to do this all the time. You know, these wins are special. They don't come around every day, and I mean, this is proof. This is everyone in this group living out their dream. You know, I'm the obvious here, sitting behind the wheel, but Claudio Burton had a dream to build his own race car and design his own race car, and it become a winner in the Trans Am Series, and it's a winner in the Trans Am Series. Damon had a dream to build this car and fabricate this car from the ground up, and it come win
Trans Am Series races. Terry, dreams come true. He's been working this group since its beginning, and
You got a legend. Congratulations, teammate. Good job, man.
And he, to watch this develop from the ground up, Arthur, and obviously I can't leave out the support of my wife Tabitha and all my family at home. Her father's going through a lot, so this one's for you, Scott. And I promised another Scott to win this weekend, Scott Borchetta. It was 1 year ago today that it was a pretty bad deal here with him, and I'm happy to report he's doing awesome for all the fans out there of his, and just a lot to be proud of here with this group. The top liner, GoShare Camaro, didn't miss a beat. I got to a point that I could manage a race. I haven't been there ever in my Trans Am career, and they gave me that. I don't know, I'm very humble. Lord Jesus Christ did this all for us, and without him, none of this is possible. So thank you to everybody, all you fans.
Happy birthday, too. But I want to talk to Claudio as well, because Claudio, you and I spoke about 4 or 5 years ago at Sonoma. You said, I'm working on something. I'm going to do something in TA that's never been done before. And I feel like you took a 20-year leap into the future. Explain this thing to us.
Well, there's several innovative concepts. I guess the biggest thing that we've done here is the repositioning of the fuel tanks forward of the rear axle. And, a Trans Am car always solved first from rear axle. There's the traction and so much power, a side bite, forward bite. So really the balance of the car that we always try to achieve is in the rear, because it's so difficult to harness all that power. And shout out to ECR Power, by the way. They just fantastic engines. Damon, the crew chief, car was fantastic. Adam drove flawlessly the whole weekend. Palm Sunday, Adam Andretti's birthday. It was just destined.
And your hometown,
all of it.
Well, it takes a mad scientist like Claudio Burton to put something like this together, and the great team that he's got with Damon and Terry and everybody back at Burton Racing. Congratulations, man. Nice job. Well, hard-fought battle. Let's go talk. So here we go. We've got Jacobson here. How was your race out there in the SGT car?
It was good. We led about 3/4 of the race, but then towards the end, the tires just kind of fell off. So we were just kind of trying to just settle for a podium.
So when the tires fall off like that and the car's just not there, you're just trying to get on the podium. You're trying anything you can to keep the other drivers behind you.
Yeah, I was just trying my best to get them behind me, but they were racing clean. They got by me clean, and then I was just running third, didn't see anyone behind me, so I just kind of brought it home in third.
Well, nice job. Congratulations. Forsyth doing pretty well here at Road Atlanta. How was your weekend?
Oh, it was a learning experience. Never been here before. And, without Eric Foss, you couldn't have done it, but especially this amazing G-Speed built Corvette. It's like a Swiss watch, just kept ticking off those laps, no fail. Everything was perfect. And we put on some new brakes and, got us to the final part we need to be at. But, I wanted to thank Sambuca Restaurant and Rayleigh Underground and all these guys, Corey, and Ian, and most of all, my crew chief here, Jason, and Mike, and Sandy back home doing support. So, had a great group of people behind me, and I can't say enough about how amazing they are.
Nice. I love it. Richard Forsyth. And then Danny Lowry, the Bennett BridgeHaul Classic. And what a classic that was. You and Hereford just went at it. You got around him. I think, did you have a spin early in the race and have to come back for a little spin and win?
I did. I made a mistake. Shannon was faster than I was from 1 down through the bottom of the S's because I was behind him, right? He got me on the start of the race. And so I heated up the top of 3 a little bit too much, and I hit the brake with a little input, spun the car. Luckily, spun it down, didn't have a problem. I got going again, and I was able to kind of catch him and get by him. We challenged each other a few times in 10A, and finally I was able to get around him. And
that's Bennett BridgeHaul 10A.
Bennett BridgeHaul 10A. We had a great race, though. Shannon is a fantastic race car driver. I knew we were going to have a good race whenever he came in, and we just had a lot of fun out there today.
Nice. I love it. Well, Danny Lowry, here we are. Jim Weed Winner's Circle about to get underway. We're going to see Danny Lowry later on in his GT350 in SVRA, but Jonathan, back up to you in the booth.
Thanks, Ben. What a wonderful moment for the sport, and a brand new car built by Claudio Burton, and as you heard, a little bit of innovation there that he
got there, and finally getting its first win, and it is very, very new. Let's take a look at some highlights, though, and there were some great ones. What a race. And in SGT, you heard from Danny Lowry, he was flying, and he heard but Danny had a problem at one point, spinning the car, but then came back and running, and he wasn't the only one, too. Round went the 41 of Jeff Lindstrom. But there's Hereford, and you can see Danny catching him bit by bit, and as they dive through the SGT craft advantage, but bit by bit, Danny caught him up and eventually would get past, and there was all sorts of battles going on, and a great run for Richard Forsyth in SGT as well, and in GT, Chris Coffey in that Maserati. A little spin for Crafter as she had her first run in Trans Am, but it was a very good performance indeed. Well done. And here's your results. Adam Andretti then with a very, very popular victory for the all-new top-liner GoShare Camaro, taking the win away from the Mustang Jim Weed of Chris Dyson in second after his spin. Keith Grant takes third, Boris Said fourth, Amy Ruman fifth, Tommy Treacy sixth, Danny Lowry in the Bennett BridgeHaul Pitboxers car takes the XGT win above Shannon Hereford in 8th, Ricky Sanders 9th, and Richard Grant rounding out the top 10. And then a little further down, winner in SGT, Richard Forsyth, Milton Grant taking 12th position overall and second in SGT, and Joshua Carlson taking third. GT was won by Chris Coffey, as I mentioned, in that Norwood Auto Italia Traffic Graphics GT car. Kaylee Bryson, that's her best finish in 15th, and Jen Crafter, though I mentioned there, had a spin, but she still finished 16th ahead of Jeff Lindstrom, who also had a spin. Paul Menard not finishing, likewise Wally Dollenbach and Billy Griffin. Well, we've had some cracking Trans Am races this weekend in TA2 and TA, and that had everything. And like I said, if you're a MAV TV fan, you can watch the highlights on Thursday night. Let's take a look at what happened in the TA race, because there was all sorts of action. We got underway, and it was the pole position man, Chris Dyson, who led for the first 11 laps. Tommy Treacy making hay, and a good battle here between Boris Said and Amy Ruman, but through went Said. Sadly, the Ultimate Headers teammate to Andretti going off and blowing an engine, but unfortunately letting oil go onto the track at 10A, and that caught out Chris Dyson and a couple of other drivers. Here it is, and just a little bit of oil is all it took, and around he went. But Dyson started to sive his way through. Treacy had an off at the top of the hill after turn 1. Dyson making his way through, finally getting through on Keith Grant, and then went in pursuit of this man, Adam Andretti. Racing on his birthday, there he is. Dyson getting into second, and look at that, almost a dead heat at the finish. Let's head down to Ben Sissel, who is in pit lane and getting ready for the podium.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, come on now, get loud. Here we are, Jim Weed Winner's Circle, the Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli, Bennett BridgeHaul Classic here at Road Atlanta. We're going to need you guys to get a lot louder than that here if you want some free giveaways, because we're about to have an unbelievable celebration. One of the best TA, XGT, SGT, GT races I've seen here at Road Atlanta. Where's the board?
The board.
All right, here we go. And make sure you come up here for some mission chips. We've got some great Jim Weed, but we're going to start with the GT class. Coming in second place, Atlanta, how loud can you get? Let's hear it. Jeff Lindstrom with Griffin Motorsports, South Florida, that beautiful Griffin Mustang. We've got our president, John Claggett, here to award these beautiful trophies by Jostens. And then in first place, Norwood Auto Italia Maserati. Let's hear it. Chris Coffey, first place, GT. Oh, I like this crowd. Keep it up, Atlanta. So Lindstrom, I know that you're kind of new to the GT, coming from SVRA, but 2 great races in a row. Had to come into the pits a few times, but you finished the race.
Yeah, we just wanted to get across the finish line at the end this time. We were battling a little bit of a transmission issue. We had an overheat alarm on the transmission basically from lap 5 on. So we kind of put it around a little bit and just kind of nursed it home. But thanks to everybody at Griffin, Billy for letting me borrow the car, Scott and Osnea for all the hard work they do, my family at home, my wife for supporting me, my mom, my dad. I wish my dad would be here today, my brother, just everybody here that's helping us out. Really appreciate all the support.
Nice. I love it. Let's hear it, Jeff Lindstrom, ladies and gentlemen, Griffin Motorsports. And are you really borrowing the car? Is he borrowing it, Billy? Where's Billy? Short-term rental, he says. Yeah. He says he's borrowing your car, Billy. Is that what's happening? Yeah. Okay, I like that. Well, Coffee, another top step. Good start to the championship. Take the mic. Tell us about your race.
Well, the race was a little frustrating. I do like the racetracks that have shorter straightaways, for sure, especially in a slower car. But the race was pretty good. A lot of cars out there putting the wall down and stuff like that, so it was pretty exciting, that's for sure. But I want to thank Colin. Unfortunately, he couldn't make the start due to a little incident we had in testing this week, but really wish he could have been out there, and all of this is thanks to him, so I really got to thank him, and got to thank my crew, Xavier and Alex, two of the best guys in the paddock for sure, and definitely got to thank my wife and son, Morgan and Sam.
Nice. I love it. Come on now, Chris Coffey, get louder in these cars. Colin, I'm sorry you missed out on this one, but next time. All right, we've got the hat dance. Michelle is going to bring up the Pirelli hats for him. All right, Atlanta, we've got to battle this car noise. Let's hear it. Jeff Lindstrom, Chris Coffey, GT. There we go. I like this crowd, Atlanta. Keep it up. You too, Aaron Creed. Just a little gentleman's salute there. Enjoy. That's a big I've never seen somebody spray themselves. Jeff Lindstrom, Chris Coffey. There we go. Nice job. We'll see you guys at the next round. Congratulations. SGT. I spoke to him right out of the car, and sometimes this happens. Sometimes the tires go away from you, and it's a hard fight just to finish on the podium. So, ladies and gentlemen, third place SGT. Let's hear it. Joshua Carlson. Come on, where are you? There he is. Go ahead, John. Sorry. Second place. Welcome back. First in Masters, second place. Let's hear it. Milton Grant in the Porsche out there. Super GT. First place, all the way from Texas. Let's hear it. Richard Forsyth in that G-Speed Corvette. So Joshua, you were talking about the race. The tires just weren't there for you at the end, and just happy to finish on the podium.
Yeah, we started out faster in the weekend, got pole in qualifying, then we were leading 3/4 of the race, but tires just weren't there at the end. But it was still a fun race, still happy to be on podium. I'd like to thank Insiva, Dirks LTD, All Test Inc., 9 Round, and my parents, my team, for making this all possible for me. And I had a lot of fun racing with Richard and Milton. They were all fun to race with and really clean.
Nice. Let's hear it. Come on now. Nice job, Joshua. Milton Grant, you know, welcome back. I missed you at Sebring, so glad to have you back here on the top step in Masters, second place there. How was it? Well, hold on, let's break a second. Now, normally your son would be in that race, but today he was in the TA race, and I think they're doing a split start. Maybe not. So, Milton, how was the race out there?
It was pretty good. I was really a beautiful day, you know. Also like to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and for giving us this beautiful day and giving me the health to do this. So, but I had a good time. It was great having a little break there in the middle. It was interesting. I enjoyed it. Well, thank you. I had a great race with both of these guys. So
nice. I love it. Come on now, Milton Grant and the Masters. And then, Richard, take the mic. Tell us about your race.
Well, we were working on the car all throughout the week, progressing, and I've never been here before, so I was learning, from Eric Foss, who's an amazing teacher, and my G-Speed amazing crew that backed me up and produced a Swiss timepiece that just kept ticking off those laps, never failed, and I can't thank G-Speed enough. Lewis and Sandy and everybody behind us, Mike, our trucker, and everybody else, of course, Corey, Justin, and all the guys there, and Jason and Ian. Anyway, so we did the best we could with a new product here. Milton kept me honest, and our best Josh competitor over here from Sebring, who kept me honest down there, and we had an amazing progression up through the field. We didn't know how we were going to do since I only qualified third. I want to congratulate Marco for doing amazing, and TA, and love the facility and this great crowd, and thank you very much.
All right, get louder than the cars. Ladies and gentlemen, Joshua Carlson, Milton Grant, Richard Forsyth. Come on, Atlanta, you can get louder than that. Keith Grant, you can get louder than that.
We need to get out some hats to get them.
Yeah, we need some hats to get them. Come on now, get riled up. Who wants a hat? Some V-Box hats. Come on, throw that out there. There we go. Oh, man. So polite, so polite. And he meant to say Adam. Yeah, he meant to say Adam. He was congratulating you from the microphone. All right, come on now, one more time. Joshua Carlson, Milton Grant, Richard Forsyth, SGT. Nice job, guys. Congratulations. Joshua's not of age. Richard just pointed and laughed. That's what stinks about being in the middle, Richard. Congratulations, guys. Thank you so much. Now, don't leave, though. We've got XGT. You guys can be played off, though. So, our Bennett BridgeHaul Classic. This was quite a battle in XGT for the two top steps, but in third, and that number 18, let's hear it for Ricky Sanders. In second place, and kind of the battle to watch there midway through the race. And that beautiful Mercedes, let's hear it, Shannon Herford, ladies and gentlemen.
Am I saying the name right? Yeah, okay, good.
And then here for the Bennett BridgeHaul Classic, having a spin and win in XGT. Let's hear it, Danny Lowry. Hey, Ricky, is that Michael Attaway out there? Yeah. Michael Attaway, you need to be up here, man. Where you been? Ricky, nice move out there. Good race. How was it for you?
It was a good race. We struggled a little bit with handling at the first half. And then I was so far behind these guys with their AMGs. They ran an excellent race and never put a wheel wrong. So I was just back there trying to pick up some of their scraps if they left me any, and they didn't do it. So it is good to have Mike Attaway here. He had hip replacement. Of course, our GT champion from last year. And I got to thank Danny Lowry again. I lost the motor of my SGT car at Sebring. He said, the Audi's sitting there, you're used to it, you ran it last year, bring it to the track, let's go have fun. So I can never thank him enough for letting me be here and come back and run with you guys. Trans Am's kind of our home and our family. We're just whatever it takes to get here and come play. So having a good time.
I love it. Ricky Sanders, ladies and gentlemen. Then we're going to come down here, Shannon Herford. You got a great start, but I don't know what it was, but man, Danny Lowry was just driven, but what a great race out there. And you had him in your mirrors for a few laps.
Yeah, he was wearing me out towards the end there. He showed his true pace.
I thought it was all good in the beginning, but when the caution backed us up, he came on, and towards the end there, I just didn't have the pace to hold him off. But it was a fantastic time. I had fun battling with him. So thank you to Autometrics for our Apex of Mercedes. It ran fantastic. Thanks to all the sponsors for this event. It was a lot of fun. So.
Nice. I love it. Shannon Herford, ladies and gentlemen. And then here at the Bennett BridgeHaul Classic, that was quite a classic for you, Danny Lowry. Take the mic, tell us about your spin and win.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I knew it was going to be a tight race because this is Shannon's home track, my home track, and Ricky's home track. So we knew it was going to be tight. We started the race, and Shannon was much faster than I was from turn 1 through turn 3, down through the S's. So he put pressure on me. Shannon put the pressure on me because he was quicker from 1 down through the S's. So I got up, I pushed it a little bit through the top of the hill, and I spun the car and let Shannon get away from me. Luckily, we had the yellow, allowed me to catch back up, and then work through some traffic and put some pressure out there, and everything turned my way. But it was fantastic running these guys. I had a lot of fun today. I'd like to thank my Bennett family that's here for the Bennett BridgeHaul Classic. Thank you. My car chief, Tyler Hoffman, for putting the strategy out there that helped us out, and my car chief, Jason Howell, who gave me a good car today. Thanks, guys.
What about
Appreciate
the hula girl?
And the hula girl, she danced for me all the whole race.
That's awesome. Yeah, we love it. That hula girl's getting pretty famous, too, there. So let's hear it. Come on now, get loud, Atlanta. You got some hometown people here. Ricky Sanders, Shannon Herford, Danny Lowry. The Bennett BridgeHaul Classic here at Road Atlanta. And that was quite a classic. Michelle is coming out to give him some hats. Who wants a hat? Ricky Sanders wants to give away a hat. That was like a boomerang. Very good. All right, Atlanta, get loud. Some of your own up here. Come on, Bennett team right here. Let's hear it. Ricky Sanders, Shannon Herford, Danny Lowry. Extreme GT.
They're at the trailer if you stick around.
All right. Danny's got a race later now. Oh. Here's what's going to happen. Danny Lowry's racing later in SVRA. The grid person is going to look in your car and smell alcohol and be like, you're not allowed on track. So look for him out in this beautiful Shelby GT350 later on in SVRA. XGT, what a race. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to bring up some legends. First in Masters. Pancho Weaver told me this is the track that this happens. You can run out of gas at this track. I believe that happened on the last lap. Got passed for the podium, but let's hear it. Boris said, first in Masters. Let's see if Atlanta knows this. I know Eric Creed knows this. Who said? That's very good, very good. You know, and just for fun, I'm going to make you stay up here for the whole podium, but did it run out of gas there at the end?
Yeah, about 3 to go, it started running out. I thought Andretti looked dead in the water, and we were going. We were going to try to catch him. Pancho's car was running really good today. It's just unfortunately we were a little short on gas, so we had a little carburetor problem. But you know, we'll get it fixed up for the next one.
Nice. Well, Pancho warned me. He said we're going to warm up the car, and then we need to refill it because Road Atlanta, you can run out of gas here.
Yeah, I mean, you're a lot of wide open here. It's a fun track, a lot of momentum. You don't really slow down much except for turn 7, but great track, a lot of fun, and these Trans Am cars are a blast.
Okay, now everybody wants to know that was watching. Was there any contact with you and Dreesy there at 1?
Yes. I mean, he was blocking the crap out of me, and I mean, he's got to give me a lane, and he just barely touched my left front corner. I mean, he drove into me, but I hated that, but he's got to give me a lane. I mean, I was already there, but I just barely touched him.
Guys, well, I love the honesty. Let's hear it. Boris said Masters here at Road Atlanta. Come on now, one more time. Boris said, Masters. Boris said, thank you. Pancho Weaver, thank you so much. In third place, usually I would know him to be out here in this race. Let's hear it, making that pass at the end. Keith Grant, come on up here, Keith. Keith Grant from the Memphis, Tennessee area. Sorry, John. Second place by about 4 or 5 feet. 3-time champion, Dyson Racing at the Jim Weed Winner's Circle. Let's hear it. Chris Dyson, second place. Come on up here, Chris.
That would be one of the...
John Claggett just told me that would be one of the closest finishes in TA Series history. Unbelievable. That might have been a birthday present he was given to his friend. The next person up here, first place, running with Burton Racing right here from Atlanta, Georgia, is his race shop. Today is his birthday. Let's wish Adam Andretti a happy birthday. Come on up here, Adam. First place. His birthday. Get up on the top step, man. You've been waiting for this. Keith Grant, nice job. I even told Brad Roberts before the race that Keith Grant's going to be on the podium here with us soon. I didn't know it was going to be today, but what a great race.
Yeah, we just had to stay consistent all day. Team gave me a great car all weekend, and just had to stay there and ended up third at the end. Glad I could run with him, and had a good race with Dyson for a little while after he had dropped back. Made a mistake in 5, and he got by me between 5 and 6. Otherwise, I could have possibly been right there with him, ahead of him. So, thanks.
Anybody you want to thank?
Got to thank all the guys at Dreesy Motorsports and my wife for her support and being here this weekend.
Nice, I love it. And then, if I'm not mistaken, Dad was on the second step in his class, right? Uncle, yeah, your uncle was on the second step. You're on the third step. I love it. So some rivalry there. Chris Dyson, what a race, what a start, but unfortunately Wally Dallenbach blew his engine down there at Bennett BridgeHaul turn 10, and I think you were the first to find the oil and had to really fight your way back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lay any blame on Wally. I mean, he's an all-time legend here. I think, honestly, the flagger probably could have been a little more vigorous. You know, and unfortunately, you look up ahead and you think, okay, with that kind of flag display, maybe there's some debris, but I mean, the place was, I was in oil before I knew it. Unfortunately, I was the first on the scene, kind of the sacrificial lamb, and then Adam and Paul saw it, were able to get through a little more cleanly. But that set up a real charge backwards for us, real comeback, and I had to go through some of the best. I had to go through some champions to get up, nipping away at Adam. I think we had the pace to win at the end. I think he had a car problem, but it was going to be a hell of a show if we'd had a few more laps. Just happy for the Jim Weed crew. There's not a mark on the car, and we came through a lot of cars today. So on to NOLA, we got some great points. I think the championship's going to be tighter, and we were fast all weekend, so I'm pumped.
Nice. Chris Dyson, ladies and gentlemen. And get ready, ladies and gentlemen, because this guy is about to be excited. Adam Andretti, happy birthday.
Thank you, and thanks to all of you. You know, the fans and the family and the friends that make this Trans Am paddock so special and make this series so special. And you know, Chris and I had an awesome race going at the beginning of this race. It was a shame that the oil, you know, played an effect on it, and because I think that was going to develop into something pretty special. And for you fans out there that watch us on a regular basis, stay tuned, because we got a lot more coming.
I like that order at the beginning.
Yeah. I know you prefer the order at the beginning more, but we're going to adjust that a little bit over time. You'll get used to this, I promise. But no, I can't thank Burton Racing enough. Claudio, my man, having faith in me. I'm so humbled that my phone rings and a man like Claudio Burton's on the other end for me to come drive these things, and Top Liner and Go Share, but the whole team, Burton Racing, Damon, I mean, the This is his Rembrandt. This is his canvas. Is sitting right here in Victory Lane, and that's for you, buddy. Terry, my man, Stick. Always putting in the hours, always putting in that passion, and doing it with that smile and that can-do attitude. And my man Arthur there, keeping Boss Man in shape, playing b-ball and all that good stuff. But yeah, it's a total team effort here. And without the support of my family and most of you know my wife Tabitha down here, and she doesn't miss one of these, but she wasn't at my last Trans Am victory, which was in 2019. So she's back here. It's 2024, and we got one here, baby. And can't forget Motec Joe down here sitting Indian style, getting a good video. But ECR engines, Fish, we're handling down the straightaway, brother. We're doing good. We're doing good getting down that straightaway. Bell helmets, Hinchmen. There's so many people that make this special for me. But again, I'm going to end the way I started this. You fans. Without you fans, without you, the Trans Am family, none of this holds water. None of this is as special as it is. So thank you for all that, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And today's Palm Sunday, so let's give it up to the Lord Jesus Christ for what a wonderful time He's given us here.
Nice. I love it. I love it. Adam Andretti, our MCO Gears lap leader. Let's hear it, ladies and gentlemen. Keith Grant, Chris Dyson, Adam Andretti. Now, Keith Grant, you usually also have raced here with us in FRP in the Atlantics, right? Nice, nice. There we go. Who wants a hat? Come on now. Look at that. All right, Atlanta, last chance. You too, Jim Wheat people. Come on. Get loud. Come on now. Keith Grant, Chris Dyson, Adam Andretti here at Road Atlanta. Bennett BridgeHaul Classic. The Mission Foods Road Atlanta Speed Tour. What are we doing here, gentlemen? Adam's like, it's my birthday. I'm going for it. Chris Dyson, one for the homies. I love it. Here at Jim Weed Winner's Circle. This is going to be fun. All right, so Jonathan, I'm going to send it back to you. Thank you, everybody.
Another wonderful podium ceremony down there by Ben Sissel. Absolutely incredible stuff to be able to see all of that for them. And a great race win by Adam Andretti. But folks, we want to thank you so much for joining us here across the board at this incredible event for the Bennett BridgeHaul Speed Tour. Make sure to tune in on MAV this Thursday for the highlights package for both the Cube 3 TA2 series as well as the TA and GT series. That'll be Thursday, March 28th at 8 and 9 p.m. respectively on MAV TV. You're not going to want to miss any of that. But in the meantime, we've still got some more action here today, including some great open wheel and vintage car racing action. So make sure to stick with us here. We'll be back in just a few moments right after these messages.